Hi there, welcome to today's painting tutorial. Today we are going to paint a hedgehog with acrylic paints. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a size 0 round brush and grab a little bit of black paint. Let's start putting that around the pupil. And I'm also going to put it around this little line here. Grab the sketch in the description below so you can paint along. And then I'm going to take some burnt sienna and then put that around the eye. See if I can get it to mix with that black a little bit. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of beige. And then let's put that above the eye, sort of creating an eyelid. Then I'm going to pick up some white and put a little bit of a highlight in the eye. And then use that to create a little bit further of an eyelid, sort of outlining the rim of the eye. Then a little bit of a highlight on top of that eyelid. Okay, so now let's do the nose. So I'm going to grab some black. I'm going to go around the outside of the nose and inside that nostril. And then pick up some burnt sienna. I'm going to rinse off some of that black that's on my brush. Grab the burnt sienna and then start putting that in. And it's going to mix with the black paint. Let's get a little lighter with some beige. And then I'm going to pick up some white paint, put a little highlight at the tip of the nose. As well as down here underneath that nostril. Okay, I'm going to blend that one in a little bit more. Okay. And now let's work on the ear. So I'm going to take some burnt umber and put that around the base of the ear. Add a little bit of black and put that in the center. And then you can let's take the burnt sienna and put that around the edge of the ear. And then take some beige and put that around the ear. Okay, so now let's start developing the face. I'm going to take some of the burnt umber and put that underneath the nose, sort of going around where the mouth is. And then pick up this burnt sienna and bring that down. Okay, I'm going to take some more burnt umber, go around the nose. Then I'm going to take some beige paint and come up here along the bridge of the nose, all the way up there. Okay, some more burnt umber, sorry, and we'll put that here. Then I'm going to take burnt sienna, feather that down, more burnt umber. We'll come around the eye. And try not to cover up what you already did with the eye, just be careful there. Then I'm going to take the burnt sienna and go around that eye. start bringing that paint down this way. And then it can start getting lighter, so pick up the beige. And while the paint is still wet, just start putting in some of that beige paint. Okay, bring that down here underneath the chin. And then let's work this way. So I'm going to take maybe some burnt sienna, start bringing it up here. And I want to make a little bit of a highlight here. So let's pick up some white and see if we can feather that white in. It's going to create a little bit of a highlight. We'll come down here with the white. Then I'm going to pick up the beige. Just continue to build with these little strokes. Okay, so we'll take the beige and then some of this burnt sienna. I'm going to pick up some purple and use that as sort of our shadow color. Think about where those shadows might be. Okay, more burnt sienna. And then some beige. And there's going to be a little bit of a highlight here, so let's put a little bit of white. Then I'm going to bring some white down here underneath the chin. Okay, so now we can start building the rest of the body. I'm going to use a larger brush to do that. So I'm going to switch to a 5 flat brush. And let's put, so I'm going to use some of this purple. Just start putting that in as sort of a shadow color. Okay, and then I'm going to put some of this dark brown. Start putting that in for this part of the body. Also gonna sort of mix that color into the purple. I'm gonna come over up here. Then I'm getting a little bit impressionistic, which means just really loose brush strokes. Then there's a little bit of a foot here, or a leg. Just gonna put that there, and it can be sort of covered up when we do the background. Okay, so burnt umber, I'm gonna bring in some of this purple. Let's create the form of the body. And then allow it to blend a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take more of this brown and just start making some fur shaped, like little spike shapes and texture on top of that purple. Okay, I'm going to bring some of that down here as well. And over here. Okay, so now let's go in. I'm going to take another 0 round brush. And then let's take some beige and see if we can start putting in just little marks for the spikes. little marks and they're going to stand out. Okay, and then I'm going to put some white. Just make these little white spikes. Again, try to make them random. Okay, go over the edge of this black or dark brown paint. Okay, so now I'm going to I have a 0 liner brush. I'm going to roll that into the white paint. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the beige to create a light highlight. Then see if I can use that to just put some little hairs and start building some of the hair texture into the face. It goes over the ears, then underneath the chin. And all the way over here. Okay, so I think that looks good for the head of the hedgehog. Now let's put in the background. Okay, so let's work on the background. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this brown, put it around for this mushroom. Take the beige. This is gonna be pretty abstract and not too perfect. Putting the darker color along the bottom. And you could put maybe some other little mushroom type shapes around it. Okay. And now I'm going to start putting in some of the background. So I'm going to use a fan brush and I have some flow medium and then some yellow paint. I want to get a pretty light wash almost so I can go around the object. See if you can go around the subject with that light yellow wash. Okay, it's pretty transparent, so if you go on top of the subject a little bit, that's okay. And you want to make sure your subject is pretty dry when you do this, just because you can see it's gonna, if you get a little bit of the darker color in there, it can sort of muddy your paint. Let's come down here. Okay, I'm gonna grab a larger brush. Let's take a size 11 filbert. And I'm gonna start mixing some green, maybe with that burnt umber. I'm just going to start putting some of that green down at the bottom to create a little bit of a shadow color. Let's put some paper underneath. Okay, so I'm just putting really loose green and the brown. I'm going to bring it all the way up here, just covering parts that are underneath the hedgehog. Okay, it's just a really loose background. Let's put some over here. Okay, just let that yellow and the brown and the green sort of mix together. I'm going to switch to a clean brush. Let's use the 5 flat brush. I'm going to mix some yellow with just a little bit of this green. See if we can transition into the yellow. Just a really light, warm green that has a lot of yellow in it. I'm just putting that in sort of as a transition. Okay, I'm going to go back to that fan brush with some of that yellow wash and just bring it all the way up to the top. Okay, some of the green is mixing in there, and that's okay. Some of that can be around some of the edges. It creates a nice glowing effect. Okay. Okay, and I think we will call this complete. This is how you can paint a hedgehog with acrylic paints. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more painting tutorials. If you want to go deeper into acrylic painting, check out my full program in the description below, The Artist Within, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.